Hello and welcome to this edition of the Halcyon Top 5s list, or rather on this episode I'm going to say Top 6 list. My name is Lorne Wisely and I'm going to be your host of this episode. Come here you. No hugging. On this episode we're going to be talking about the best sidekicks in gaming. Well, what do I define as a sidekick? Well, it has to be a character that you can either play as directly but isn't the main protagonist, and can appear with you in missions. They're not just the kind of people that you go up to in a shop and talk to and they give you some benign bollocks to do and say, or a quest or something. They have to physically be in there with the foxhole with you. I also think that they have to add something a little bit extra. They have to give you something, a warm fuzzy feeling inside that makes you know that they're with you for life. Thug life.
Cool, totally lame.
On this edition, let's take a look at the top 6 sidekicks in all of gaming. Oh, and in case you were wondering, these are just 6 picks. They're not in any particular order, they're all semantics and they're all invited to my tea party, so feel free to put them in the orders you like and feel free to add yours in there. Coming in at number 6 is Morden Solus.
Morden Solus is a Solarian Special Ops veteran with a PhD in arse whoopery and a wit quicker than the Roadrunner. His combat skills are on par with any of the companions of Mass Effect, utilising a tech-based moveset and favouring lightweight but rapid-fire weapons such as SMGs, and his reputation as a fearsome fighter precedes him. But what sets him apart is his range as perhaps the funniest yet darkest character you can interact with when you first meet him. Logical, methodical, and taking brevity to the point where you get the impression he can explain quantum engineering to you in 10 words or less. He sings goddamn Gilbert and Sullivan but repurposed the song as an off-the-cuff moment that leaves you stunned at how whimsical he can be, and in a touching moment that mirrors it, hums the song to himself in the final game of the series as he prepares to sacrifice himself to cure the genophage to save the entire species of the Krogan. His loss really weighed heavily on me, and while some might point to moments in movies or games where people died and it changed the game for them, Morden's sacrifice showed me that no one in the game was safe from biting the proverbial Omniblade. Grunt being the other one I thought was bashing down heaven's door, but later turned out to be just a cop-out. But in terms of a companion who made you feel everything there is to feel and could drop a fool if the situation called for it, there are few better than the very model of a scientist Solarian.
Sexual activity normal as stress release. Still, recommend caution with Thane. Drell human liaisons complex. Thane complex as well.
Thane is important to me. I don't want to hurt him, but I'm not gonna just walk away.
Of course, hormones. Regardless, come to me when rash develops.
Giggity giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
Coming in at number 5 is Anna DeWitt, or better known as Elizabeth.
Now, Elizabeth is the perfect example of a character who shows growth throughout a game. From your cryptic instruction of bring us the girl and wipe away the debt, to arriving in Colombia, to meeting her for the first time, to your travels and finally the climax of the game. She forms a bond with you that's impossible to ignore. Powerful, intelligent and resourceful. Willful and morally upstanding, but still young and impressionable. She's a complex and wonderfully layered character. Add to this her ability to warp reality and transport to alternate universes and timelines. She adds an element to combat you just don't see in other games. And her small touches in how she moves, how she interacts with you and your surroundings, finding you more weapons, cash, tonics, vigors. She's one of the most useful NPC characters I've ever come across. Finally, she has moments of real vulnerability, such as resorting to murdering someone she respected to save the life of a child, to singing along to Booker's guitar tune in a moment that serves no real purpose to the story or gameplay, but it's just a beautiful and serene moment in a game filled with chaos and confusion. And that's the best way that I can sum her up, really. In a sea of lighthouses, each with their own plot point that will confound you, Elizabeth is the thing that makes the most sense. You're happy when she's around, and you miss her when she's gone, and that speaks volumes about how great a sidekick she really is.
By and by is a better home awaiting in the sky.
Coming in number 4, it's Claptrap.
The least useful, but by far the most entertaining sidekick of the bunch. Claptrap is R2-D2 on a crystal meth relapse, a cornucopia of crudeness and sass that is such a delight when you first wander into the snowy wasteland of Pandora, and persists with this attitude throughout the game as a source of tutelage and a constant source of yucks as you go. The first 10 minutes of the game leading up to and including the first boss are hilarious, due in no small part to Claptrap. Even blind, he continues to impress, and later as a mission giver, he comes up with some of the most fun missions of the game. In particular, a mission where he has an item you require, and in a unique position of leverage, rattles off a number of increasingly monstrous tasks, only to neglect the fact that the objective lies in a postbox behind you that is later highlighted, making it ridiculously easy to find. In terms of a combatant, he has all the intimidation factor of a bag of gummy bears, but nonetheless, on a number of occasions while the bullets are flying and shrapnel is hurling through the air, there he is, panicking away or coming up with some crazy quip. Claptrap is the one you want in the foxhole with you, if nothing else, because if you're about to be blown to bits, he'll at least make it funny.
I didn't explode yet.
Cut! Damn it, cut! This is the 30th f***ing take! Who do I have to suck off to get a suicide bomber whose balls have dropped?
Coming in at number 3, it's HK-47, bitch.
Speaking of robots that are cheeky as f***, HK-47, the sassy assassin droid. And the odd thing is, you can ignore him completely, and you'll only have but an inkling of the hateful bastard lurking beneath his blood-soaked exterior. His playful jibes that turn out to be legitimate threats, his colourful stories filmed with mayhem and terror, his nickname of Meatbag for every organic lifeform that he encounters. He's adorable, and he's one of the most useful non-Jedi members that you can have in your party too. While not as strong as T3 in terms of outright hacking ability, he is skilled enough to suit a party of a warrior and a sentinel, or indeed a council class of Jedi, with his preference for heavy blasters being a good complement for the melee heavy combat of the Jedi. But his worth lies beyond just what he says and does. He is a link to the protagonist and the mysterious character of Revan, given he once served as Revan's personal assassination droid, carrying out assignments that were too petty or menial for the notice of the Sith, Lord of the Dark Side of the Lord of the Sith, but critical enough to merit the skills of an expert who revels in the hunt, savours the kill, and follows you in either the good or the bad ending. Where others in your party may hold themselves to petty morality, HK-47 will always be your brobot.
Translation: 98% probability that members of the miniature organics tribe are being held by Sand People Master. Doubtless he wishes assistance. Translation: 2% probability that the miniature organic is simply looking for trouble and needs to be blasted. That may be wishful thinking on my part, Master.
Coming in at number 2, it's Metal Gear Rising's Wolf.
This is a tricky one to justify, but one that stuck with me nonetheless. As the protagonist of Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, Raiden, traverses the game, he will encounter enemies that are easily dispatched and bosses, and that's about it. Sure, you have to deal with the occasional Metal Gear, but let's not get bogged down with details. Anyway, in the midst of this, you walk down a hallway only to be attacked by this ferocious four-legged fiend wielding a chainsaw as a tail and taunting you with a voice and a vernacular that puts the Terminator to shame and reminds me of the Nod AI from the Command & Conquer series. After a heated battle, leaving him badly damaged, he's captured by Raiden and his team and repurposed as a scout/sentinel agent, feeding intel on the battlefield and any potential enemies the player may encounter. But the reason he makes the list for me is, unlike anyone else on this list, he adds to the style and the feel of the game, as opposed to being a somewhat lonely experience with just you and foes to contend with. There's nothing really for you to interact with or distract you from, obviously aside from using a samurai sword to blend people in midair, which is admittedly badass as hell. The wolf is a companion who's always lurking in the shadows, a compliment both aesthetically and in story terms, since he often questions Raiden's motives. But he never detracts from the mission, even making a final plea to Raiden as he prepares to exact his revenge on a previous associate of the wolves, asking if they really need to fight. He's cool, he's badass, he's the goddamn wolf, and yes, I said Raiden and Raiden both in this paragraph, so you let me know which is right.
I possess an intellect far beyond human reckoning.
You don't say. Okay then, what's the meaning of life? Why are we here?
I am here to kill you.
And finishing out this top 6 list, it's everyone's favourite drug-dealing Rastafarian, Little Jacob.
But when it comes to cool customers, there are none much cooler than Little Jacob. Dread-wearing, gun-bearing, weed-smoking, all joking, drug-dealing, cash-stealing son of a gun, and having a hard time keeping those wanted stars down. Woo! Originally a simple fare for your brother Roman, Nico Bellic drives the cab for Jacob to a drug deal, as you do, and agrees to bodyguard for the deal itself. But when the deal goes awry, as of course is tradition, and they escape, they become bezzies, doing missions for each other, attending each other's social functions, with the thick accent of Jacob paling in comparison to the aptly named Bad Man, Jacob even serving as a makeshift interpreter on this occasion. But above it all, he's a hangout buddy, and one that doesn't chase you relentlessly to hang out, also turns up when you need him most. Got a traitorous Russian mobster to murder? Jacob's on the case. Got a wedding to attend in style? Boom! You got the Jacob. He's funny, but serious when he needs to be. He's a useful companion in that he occasionally does actually damage people? Not something that all NPC companions can boast. And he's a character unique in the GTA universe in how so far he hasn't betrayed a main character, died or had a spin-off. Little Jacob is the Joey of video game sidekicks. He might have all his vices, but he'll be there for you when the lead starts to pour.
Cheap my youth, you worry about cheap? We not worry about cheap, you know. The boy them dip on the corner, me say the boy them other things on my corner that and thing and me say every corner on my corner and thing, I'm gonna write that to the boy them go on and say, oh, they wanna give me my money. Oh, something go on with that.
In the quiet words of the Virgin Mary, come again.
Alright, hear me now. What Batman is saying is,
and so there you have it. Those are my top 6 sidekick / companions in gaming. These are the people that I would bring with me into any game, knowing full well we're covered on firepower, we're covered on resourcefulness, tech, bit of power as well, and more to the point, we're all bros and sisters, man. We are going to go out to the club and hippity hop and things of that nature. I used to be cool, I really did. I was president of my cool association in school. Alas, a simpler time. Thank you very much for watching this episode of the Halcyon Top 5s list. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you put your picks in the description below. I'm looking forward to seeing who you would bring into the foxhole with you in the event that gaming became a weird pseudo-reality of Pixels and Adam Sandler being director of everything. God, wouldn't that be horrific? So leave me your comments in the description below. In the meantime, please like and share and subscribe. Check out some of the other content that I've been producing recently, including the content over at Defund Games channel. The sexy git over there is making some marvellous content that I think you should partake in. As always though, please, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of the Halcyon Top 5s list.